Happy Sunday. Hope somebody joins me on this live. If not, I'm going to go ahead and proceed with it and just post it on my channel. How are y'all doing today? How's it going? I got my laptop here. Want to answer some of your government contracting questions. I've been getting emails about questions that you guys have. I've also been getting like DMs and messages and stuff like that. So how are y'all doing? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I want to answer some of your government contracting questions. I just finished pre-pooing my hair. I was about to slap on a plastic cap on my hair, but I realized that I did not hit my goal this week on how much I submit in government contracts. So I said, you know what? Let's go ahead, go live. Let's answer some questions and let me show them how easy it is to submit a government contract. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box, and I'm going to see if I can add stuff in the chat box too. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. So like I said, I got my laptop because I want to show y'all how easy it is to submit a contract. And it's pretty easy. So I'm going to show you my process. I don't spend a whole bunch of time on submitting contracts because all it is a hypothetical. It's a possibility. It's an opportunity that's there. It does not mean that you're going to win that contract. So I don't spend a huge amount of time on it, but I just kind of want to show you some of my tools that I use. And let me see. What I try to do is stay very, very organized. And I do this by having a bunch of tools. I use a bunch of stuff off of Google, like things that come with my Google email address. And I am going to go ahead and pull up what I call my bid sheet. This is where I keep all the opportunities, all my opportunities that I'm interested in going after. They all live on the bid sheet. By the way, I have opened up a way for you to learn from me. And if you're interested in government contracting, you could go to my Stand Store. And on my Stand Store, you will be able to get a free list of services that you could get from a free list of services that you will be able to, that the government buys. In case you're wanting to start government contracting, but you just are not aware of like what you could sell to the government, you could go to my Stand Store and you could get a free list. I compose 100 different things that the government buys, plus so much more. Just arrived, what's this streaming about? Hey Vernon, this streaming is about government contracting. So we basically contract with the government. I contract with the government. I've made multiple six figures contracting with the government. My goal this year is to hit at least $1 million in revenue contracting with the government. And I'm about to show y'all some of the tools that I use. So I'm going to pull up like one of my older sheets. This is from April. This is something that I made up. It's a Google spreadsheet, and it has all these little opportunities that I was interested in going after. Now, every opportunity I did not actually work. Some I did get to work, but the ones that I did get to work, I kept account of it. And the way it naturally goes is once you have those opportunities, you submit for those opportunities, you win some of them, you will be busy performing on the contract. So you might not have the time to submit the rest of them. So that's just typically the way it goes. I have a few buddies who do similar work. Oh, that's very cool. If you have any questions about government contracting, let me know, Vernon, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So I wanted to show y'all just how easy it is to bid on contracts. Now, granted, they're not all the same. There are various contracts that you could bid on, and they vary in complexity. Some of them require like a full blown out proposal. Others require just a quote. Others just require like some standard forms. So the one I'm doing today just requires some standard forms. And this one actually is in South Carolina that I'm going after. And the one in South Carolina, the website looks like this. And the one in South Carolina, it is to clean up some storm damage. That's what I'm doing, to clean up some storm damage. And I'm trying to keep my eye on the comments just in case someone else has a question. But yeah, it's to clean up storm damage. And so, oh, I forgot my sheet of paper. But we estimated that it's going to cost about $150,000 to clean up one one place of where the storm damage is, and we estimate that it's going to cost about let me see, trying to remember without running to my office and getting the sheet, but I think I need to get it because I actually do want to bid on it while we're here live together. And I want to bid with the accurate numbers that me and my team came up with in order to submit for this. But yeah, so I think the total contract that we're going to submit for might be, I don't know, it might be 200,000, might be more than 200,000. I'm not sure. So what is the website? Is it SAM? No, this one is not SAM. This one is called vendorportal.sc.gov. Vendorportal.sc.gov. So anyway, what I was going to say is we essentially just want to spend time researching opportunities, bidding on opportunities. If you are interested in working with me, if you want to do a one-on-one with me, I just opened it up where you're able to do a one-on-one with me. And please don't schedule a one-on-one unless you are ready to get started. I have it priced so that it's only for very serious people, because it does take a lot of time commitment. I also, please don't schedule a one-on-one unless you already have a business, unless your business is registered, like registered with your state. EIN number, DUNS number, so you could implement on the stuff that I have to share with you and just get ready to go and get clarity. She's broke, I could tell by her walls. Oh, that is so very funny. I love that, JR. That is so funny. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. I'm actually in a rental, and I got this rental because where I am located right now is we have 1, 2, 3 contracts in the area. So one of the contracts we've completed, that one was over $50,000. The other contract that we completed was, well, the other contract that we're currently working, that one is about $16,000 per month. And the other contract, it was $85,000. So we had all those contracts going on. So I had to be here. And so we have a place here. That's all. But judge me if you want to. It's perfectly fine. Like, I'm not worried about it whatsoever. So essentially we have, essentially, like, we, you know, sometimes it's necessary, depending on what type of contract you're working, to be there in place. Now, all the contracts that I have, I'm not in place for all of those contracts. There's some contracts where you just go and, you know, you just hire a subcontractor. The subcontractor takes care of it. And later on, I'm going to be posting a short on my YouTube channel, just to kind of show y'all some of the contracts that I currently work, have been awarded, with receipts. You'll see the deposits, my bank account snippet deposits of with receipts. So, you know, judge me if you want to. It's perfectly fine. But let me run and get that sheet of paper so I can know exactly how much we're bidding on. Give me 1 second. All right, so I am back and I have my real numbers. So it's broken up into two different price points. So let me see. So we're bidding 70,000 for one and 147,000 for the other. So the way I view bidding is I really am not tied to a specific bid. So when I go after something, I don't just put all my hopes and dreams in this. So how much is this total? This would be like 240, I think. So I don't put all my hopes and dreams in winning this $240,000. Now, the way this works is, the way this one will work is I will sub this one out. So I know how much my sub already gave me a quote for. So my sub gave me a quote. So for one part, I would profit like 20,000. For the other part, I will profit about 72,000. So based off of the prices that my sub provided for me, and I've won contracts like this before. So my company has experience with this sort of storm cleanup. Excuse me, because we've won contracts like this before. And so anyhow, what I was going to say is, again, I'm on the site vendorportal.sc.gov. You need to be registered for the site. It doesn't take very long to register for the site. So what is your opinion on credit unions, or just use a regular bank? By the way, I was trolling. Yeah, I know. So I know you was trolling, JR, and it was hilarious. I don't understand what your question is. If you're talking about funding, I've never gotten any funding. Haven't even built any business credit, so I couldn't even answer that question for you. The way my process works is, if I have to self-perform, then I hire employees. If I have to get a subcontractor, then I send them like a vendor onboarding, and within the vendor onboarding packet, I let them know that it is paid net 30. So when the the government entity pays me, then I will end up taking that money that they pay me. So let's say I win this one, 147,000. I'll take that 147,000. I will pay my vendor. I pay my vendor straight through my bank account. So I use traditional banks, but I am looking to get like, something smaller, because I do want to kind of like dive into building business credit. But with my bank that I have right now, it allows me to send like a electronic funds transfer straight to my vendor without any sort of fees on their receiving end. So it's not like a wire. I pay a small fee. I pay like $10 a month for it, and I think I pay $2 or $3 each time I send it. And that's all that there is to it. I just sold my business for 6.3 million. That is so cool. That's very good. That's very good. And I've been kind of thinking about continuously growing mine so I could sell it, because I do have some other things in the works besides this. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, okay, so this is the portal. And basically there's just different tabs. So you have to go through each tab. And I was trying to go live on my Mac in the other room, but it said I had to like download Chrome and all that, and I just wasn't going to do all that. And besides, this platform, as y'all could look at it, is very like outdated. So anytime I try to get on this platform on my Mac, it just doesn't work. So I just said, let me just go live on my phone and show y'all like this. So I'm sorry that I can't show you a different way, but drop any questions that you have on government contracting in the comments, and I will be happy to answer them. So basically you just tap register. So oh shoot, I think I signed out because I've been sitting here so long. Let me start that again. And this one is not due until August the 5th. One thing you want to be careful on, if you're submitting way ahead of time, like you want to be careful that they don't add any new attachments to the solicitation. If they add new attachments to the solicitation and you have not acknowledged them, then your bid will not count. It's happened to me before. It's not nice. I don't like it when that happens. So I'm trying to make it a practice to go back like the day before or the day that it's actually due to make sure there's no new attachments added, so that I could make sure that my bid actually counts. So if y'all have any questions, drop your questions in there. Again, we're talking about government contracting. I've been contracting with the government for 2 years. I'm going to film a sit down video on YouTube, just explaining like how I got into it and why I got into it and my thoughts on it and how much I like it and all that good stuff. All right, so back to it. So, all right, it's loading right now. So we are going to hit register because I want to register to actually submit for this opportunity. And then I am going to go to like the ones that I want to bid on. So it's broken up into four different parts of the contract. And sometimes you have to bid on everything. Sometimes you could only bid on the part that you want. This case, I'm only interested in 2 parts. So I'm only going to bid on those 2 parts. So for there, you would just hit create response, and then you just create your response. So there are lots of little tabs, as you could probably see. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but there's lots of little tabs, and you just have to go through each tab And I want to show you, let's see, I want to show you right here. So you put your pricing right here. And once you submit your pricing, which I just told y'all what my pricing is, 147,000 on one part and 70,000 on another part. So once I put my pricing in there, then what happens is I just hit submit and I'm done. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Y'all, there's government contracting, in my opinion, is the best kept secret. One day I was just on YouTube washing dishes, put my AirPods in my ear while I was washing dishes, and I came across this video where someone was talking about government contracting, and it just made so much sense to me. I was like, oh my goodness, this just makes so much sense. So the next day, that was probably like 8 o'clock at night. The next morning, I got up and I registered a brand new business under the Secretary of State. I was in Atlanta. I just went ahead and registered my business. It took me a little while for my business to get approved. Once it was approved, I got my EIN. I got my DUNS number. I got my bank account, and I was bidding. And I made so many mistakes. I made so many mistakes. If y'all are enjoying this live, make sure you give me a thumbs up so that, YouTube knows to let more people know about the live. I made so many mistakes, but I just kept going and I was committed to learning. And I just learned, I just consume content, but I wasn't just consuming, I was putting a lot of action behind it. And the first bid I won was for 40,000, I can't remember the exact amount, but for 40,000 and something dollars. And that was providing chips for a prison. Yes, 40,000 something dollars. And then the next bid that I won was for, like, let me see, there's 3 different parts of it. So let's just kind of round it off and say like $180,000. And that is a 5-year contract. So $180,000 per year on a 5-year contract. The next bid that I won was, I've won a lot, so it's hard to say them in order. But like I said, I will be putting up a short just kind of explaining some of the ones that I've won, with receipts, with snippets of like the deposits, my bank account information and stuff like that. But let me get back to submitting this bid. If y'all have any questions, please drop them in the chat. Please drop them in the chat because, I don't know. I just want to make sure that I could help somebody out there if someone is, I got a lot of emails the last time I went live. I got a lot of questions. Hey, Sherelle, Leah, just jumping on. Hey, Sherelle, I'm so happy that you're here. What questions do you have? I know you emailed me and you were saying like, you did something with the SBA. So what questions can I answer? What questions can I answer? Right now, I'm bidding on a contract. I think this one is going to be like 240, if my math is correct, around 240-ish. And they're going to want the work to start pretty much right away. So this bid is due the first week in August. So if I get awarded this contract, I'll record it. I'll make a short or something about it so y'all can see how this contract is being performed. But I don't plan on self-performing this contract. Fortunately, this contract is local. And like I was telling JR, I'm here in South Carolina because of contracts that I have that need my attention. And this one is in South Carolina. So I'm like, while I'm here, I might as well dig in and get as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I am here doing. And I am going to go ahead and submit for this bid. So 147,000 is my bid amount. And my subcontractor says for that part of the bid, he's going to charge me $75,000. And the nice thing about it is this type of bid is a one and done is what I like to call it. So it's not recurring revenue. I love bids that are recurring revenue where you know that you're going to have X amount of dollars coming in because you have a contract for X amount of years. But I also like the one and dones because it's a nice quick infusion of cash into your business and you could kind of decide what you want to do with that cash. Me, I've used a lot of that cash for hiring more people. So I've started off by myself and I have a team of, let me give you the totals. All right, we got, oh, should I say their names out loud? We have, I don't want to say their names out loud. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't think no, 11. We have a team of I have a team of 11 people right now. So I've used my money to be able to build my business. So I have not upgraded my lifestyle. I have not like gotten a new car. I drive a 2018 car. I haven't bought all this stuff, you know, or anything like that, because I know the direction I want my business to go in. But it does allow me to be able to have a place here, a place in Atlanta. It does allow me to be able to do other things. You know what I'm saying? It allows me to get things done. But more than anything, I have more time. I have more time back. So that's why, well, since the beginning that I started this, people that know me have said, Leah, please coach me. Please teach me how to do this. And I have not been interested in doing it at all. But now that I have a whole lot more time, I'm like, maybe I can open it up. So just this week, I opened up coaching for it. I have not gotten my first client, but I do have experience with helping people win contracts. There's some videos on my YouTube channel where, you know, vlogs where I'm just talking about some of my students who won contracts. I helped my sister win one recently, which was very personal to me. That was very exciting. I'm working with my brother to help him win a contract, which is another one that's really personal, very exciting for me. The one my sister won, the profit was $18,000, and that was a one and done contract. So, you know, just think about how long it takes you to make $18,000 in your business currently. It may take you an hour to make $18,000. It may take you just, you know, a couple of days. But if you're clocking in and working a 9 to 5, how long does it take you to make $18,000? And that was a small contract. That was a really, really small contract. But there's money everywhere. There's so much money out there to... I just cannot believe I didn't know about this sooner, but I'm so thankful that I know about it now. And so I don't care if no one signs up to work with me. It doesn't matter to me. But if I bring awareness to y'all so that y'all know that this exists, then that means so much, because it has made a huge difference in my life. A huge difference in my life. So, okay. So she says, do I need to register my business with the Secretary of State? Yes. You do need to register your business with the Secretary of State. And because honestly, you don't have to register your business with the Secretary of State, but you want to be taken seriously. So you can say, okay, this is me, you know, Susie Jones, and Susie Jones is going to do whatever that the government is asking them to do. You can do that. But, you know, how serious would you really be taken? You know what I'm saying? Like the government contracting is beautiful, because the thing about it is they have to do businesses with individuals and small owned businesses. They have to. It's a mandate that they do it. And this, I think this is why it's kept so quiet. But they have to do business. But if you have vendors and suppliers, and if you want to subcontract, how seriously are those people going to take you if you don't have a bona fide business? You know what I'm saying? So names aren't needed. No, names aren't needed. That's amazing, getting help. Yes, it is. Thank you. Interesting in how you learn how to find quality bids. Can you share the process whenever you can? Because of you, I have been able to secure and maintain my notary business for the last 4 years. Thank you, Cheryl. That's so nice. I love that. I know you're doing it right. It's legit. Yes, it really is. Okay, so my process of finding bids is I also made a sheet of all of these different websites, because y'all, the websites are endless on where you can find bids. I made a sheet for myself personally, and maybe I'll put that in my stand store so y'all can have that sheet too. But what I basically do is I don't go on every one of those websites all the time. In the beginning, I would just casually browse those websites. I could be chilling on the couch watching TV. I could be you know, just waiting to get my teeth cleaned at the dentist's office or something like that. I would just kind of casually browse. And remember, I showed you that sheet earlier. Let me kind of go back to it. See if I could get back to it. Remember, I showed you this sheet earlier. So when I would browse and see something that I wanted to do, what I would do is put it on this sheet. And so this is like my opportunity sheet. And I would just tell myself, okay, Leah, don't be in love with the number of opportunities out there. Be in love with the possibility that you could actually see one through 100% and make some money. And indeed, I did. Made lots of mistakes along the way, tons of mistakes along the way, because I just did not know what I was doing, but I was willing to apply myself. And now that I've applied myself, I've been able to win again and again and again, and help other people win, and hopefully help y'all win something too. So once I put these bids on the sheet, then what I do from there is I will take a look at like the opportunity. I will kind of read what they want. I love that the government makes it completely clear what they want. They make it completely clear. It's not like having an e-commerce store or Amazon store or anything like that. It's nothing like that. They're the largest buyer. They're the largest buyer in the world. They're the largest buyers, and they buy everything. Again, if you go to my Sand store, I have a free list of 100 services, not over 100 services that the government buys, but this is just 100. I'm majorly limiting them because they buy everything. I've seen contracts for so many different things. I've seen contracts for blowing up balloons. I've seen contracts for nuts, bolts, screws. I've seen contracts for paper. I've seen contracts to rent a copy machine. I've seen contracts to rent an excavator. I've seen contracts for so many different things, and there's a strategy of how you go about going after that opportunity. So just getting back to Sherelle's question, how do I figure out my process? Once I have it on my bid sheet and I sit down, and I'm ready to work, what I end up doing is I start researching the opportunity to see, okay, is this something that I want to do? Is this something that I qualify to do? Is this something that I can do? And I use qualify very, very loosely because you could do pretty much anything. You could do pretty much anything. So when I say qualify, I'm talking about, do they want like a bid bond? Sometimes they want a bid bond, and you might have to put up money for that bid bond. And so you may have to tie up, let's say 10% of the contract amount. So let's say the contract amount is $1 million. You may have to tie up $100,000 in order to, with a cashier's check, and they hold that cashier's check for a while. So that's what I mean by that. Stuff like that. If I don't want to tie up $100,000 for something of that nature, then hey, it is what it is. I'm going to move on to another one because there's so many opportunities, like I said before. Realizing too, Sherelle, that every buyer is not the same. So I have this gray t-shirt on. I could go to Walmart and get this gray t-shirt. I might spend $10 or less at Walmart. I could also go to Bloomingdale's and get a similar gray t-shirt. I might spend $500 for a t-shirt. So just like different stores cater to different people, different government entities have different budgets. So everyone, just because they're wanting a gray t-shirt, it does not mean that they have a budget that makes the project worth it for you. Does that make sense? So essentially, like if I had a budget of $10, I'm not about to go to Nordstrom to try to find a gray t-shirt. I might hit up Old Navy to try to find a quality gray t-shirt. And it's the same way with government entities. Everyone does not have the same amount of budget. So you have to kind of do your research to see historically how much are they used to paying for this thing. And that research varies greatly just depending on what entity you are dealing with. So if you want to like book a one-on-one with me, or if anyone decides to sign up for any sort of coaching, like an 8-week program, I have an 8-week program, then, we could just kind of break it down according to whatever opportunity is in front of you right now. I hate talking in hypotheticals because I want you to actually apply the information and go straight to like what it really is. Like go straight to the information that you need in order to be able to do your best to target that bid. And so with that being said, the other thing I was going to say, like I said before, once I submit this bid for like $240,000, my heart, I'm not all tied up into this bid. you know, I gave my best shot, I put my best foot forward, and I keep it moving because there's so many opportunities out there, and I don't spend a bunch of time on it. So it's not like I spent, oh my God, I spent a whole month preparing for that bid. No, that's not the way it works. That's not the way I move in my business. That's just not what I do. And so that way, you know, like, I don't feel so attached to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I know I want to make however much money, then I know I need to kind of break down that goal to however many bids I'm going to be submitting for. And with that being said, then start winning some of those bids and just kind of analyze how close I am to my goal, up my goal if I want to, just, you know, worry about working that bid as best as I can. You know, it just depends on what the bid is. So let's see. She said makes sense. Okay, good. I'm glad that it makes sense. So y'all, I want to submit this bid with y'all in person so that you could see how easy it is. And I wish I had a better way to show you, but this will be up on YouTube so you can see it again. So this is the website that I'm on. It's vendorportal.sc.gov. And I am going to go ahead and submit my pricing for this bid. So they do have different questions that they ask you. And so you just have to kind of answer those questions. So give me 1 second. Let me try to get to it. Okay, so it says 0 out of 3 questions were answered, and 3 of them are mandatory. So I'm going to read the questions out to you. And let's see. Do you stay within a particular industry, or how do you decide what type of work you want to do? No, I don't stay in a particular industry. I do have some plans to, though. I do have a couple of tests I need to take in order to get licensed, because I finally nailed down the industry that I want to work in. But y'all, isn't it so wonderful? Like last year, we did $500,000 and without a specific industry. You know what I'm saying? We did $500,000. So what if I was in my industry and I was extremely targeted after what I went after? What is the possibility then? You know what I mean? To me, that just is so exciting. Like, how could you start a business, decide that you're going to go after whatever your little heart desires, figure it out, and make $500,000? I just love that. I love that. I love that. I love it. Thank you, Sherelle. How did you learn how to create effective bids? By trial and error. Trial and error. That's how I did. I just would watch a lot of YouTube videos. I would watch YouTube like it was my job. When I was driving somewhere, I would put on a creator. Some creators that helped me a lot. Derek, I can't remember his last name. I don't even know if his last name is there, but Derek helped me. I would go to him for specific tutorials. There's another lady, what is her name? I haven't watched her in so long. She was helpful, but I thought she was helpful, but she would kind of breadcrumb stuff, you know. When I really started to apply the stuff, I saw that she really didn't give me what I needed. Kizzy Parks, I watch her channel only for motivation to see what's possible. Who else? What other creators are there? I feel like there's one other that I'm missing, but I haven't watched any in so long because, girl, my head has been down. My head has really been down. But yeah, I will watch Kizzy Parks for motivation only, not instruction. And that's just me. I'm in her Facebook group, and I used to post in there kind of often because I was trying to motivate new people in the group because it's not a paid group, it's free. But I would just post in there often, like post my wins in there. But I guess I haven't posted in there anymore. But her channel was very motivating because she interviews a lot of people who have won their first contract. So that was always extremely motivating to me. And one thing I had to sit and realize is, girl, there's people winning every day. There's people winning even on Sundays. You know, there's people winning contracts every single day. So why can't it be me? So that's how I just said, girl, you don't need to know everything. You just need to know how to get stuff done, you know? So if my air conditioner went out, then who do I call? Who do I call? Does it mean I know the ins and outs of an HVAC unit? Absolutely not. That's not what it means. When my roof needed to be repaired, who do I call? You know, you interview people, you talk to people, you see if you want to work with that person, you see if they seem reputable, you see if their price is fair, and you do business with them. You know what I'm saying? And you rule out the ones who you don't want to do business with. Same thing. Same thing with government contracting. So I had taken like a course on project management. And when I took that course on project management, it helped me to understand a lot of different things. But one of the things I really understood was I know how to get things done, just like we all do. If you're a mom, if you're a dad, if you planned a party, excuse me, if you ever had to create, like, to start to finish, if you planned a trip, and I'm not talking about an elaborate trip, you've project managed. That's what I do every day in my business. Not every day, not anymore, but that's what I do in my business. You project manage. So I got this, people were doing a mold remediation job for me hours away from me. And I was at home on my couch watching TV, visiting, taking care of my mom because my mom was living at the time. I was, during the week, I was bidding on other opportunities, all the while they were performing on the work, because I interviewed, I found a proper company, they did it, they did everything that they were supposed to do. They walked away with the price we agreed on. I walked away with over $8,000 in 4 days. In 4 days. In 4 days. So yeah, y'all, it's such a good thing. Okay, so I don't want this to time out on me again. So let me get to these questions. And I will. So the question number 1 is, have I read and understand the terms and conditions? And that answer is just a simple drop down that says, yes, I have read and understood the terms and conditions. Question number 2, have I read and understand all amendments? Those are the attachments I talked to you all about earlier. And the answer is yes, I have. Question number 3, is my offer in accordance with the terms and conditions of the solicitation? And that is yes, it is. So what that means is, if they've asked me to do X, Y, and Z, I'm not going to come back at them and say, oh, I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z, but I'm going to do LMNOP, you know? So are you going to do according to the terms, is what they're asking. And the answer is yes. You don't have to guess what the government wants. They outline everything very, very clearly about what they want. If it's not clear, you ask a question. They answer the question, and you go ahead and come up with your number of how much it will cost, and you submit your bid, and we hope for the best, but we keep moving and we find other bids and we go after other bids. That's all. I love it, y'all. I love it. Okay, so now that I've answered those questions, now I could go to my pricing. So as I explained before, I am not going after all 4 parts, because with this particular one, I have the option to go after 1 or more. I only want to go after two parts. So that's what I'm going to do. As I said earlier, I have my estimates on how much we're going to submit. So for the first part, we're going to submit $147,000. So I'm going to simply click the link by the first part, excuse me, and I'm going to type my price. So right here, you type your price. Okay. All right. So 147 is my price. And then I am going to go up to the next one. So the next one I'm going to do, like I told y'all earlier, is $70,000 is the price that I'm going to offer them to do the job. And so we estimate that if we're awarded this, it will probably take us up to 6 weeks to get it done. So the profit in that 6-week time, somebody do the math for me. 147 minus 75. What is that? 147 minus 75. What is that, y'all? I don't know why I can't think of it right now. I can actually do it on my computer right here. 147 minus 75, that's 72. And so the other part is 20,000. So 20,000. So the profit will be $92,000 in a 6-week period that we would and when I say we, I'm talking about my company, my team, that we would profit. 92,000 is our profit. That's what we walk away with after we pay our sub, if we're awarded this. So next we would, what questions do y'all have? Do y'all have any questions? What questions do you have? All right, so now I have put my number in, and I know you probably can't see this, but the 147 appeared here and my 70 did not appear yet. So what I need to do for my 70,000 to appear is I need to get out of that field right there. And I'm just going to get out of it by hitting tab. And now my 70,000 is there. And so now all I do is go up here and hit submit. And I'm done, which I'm about to do. There we go. So it's been submitted. So that's it, y'all. And I would have gotten this done a whole lot sooner if I was not talking. But I wanted to, engage with y'all and talk to you guys about it. So am I going to sit up here and be like, oh my God, I'm going to win I'm going to make $92,000. No, I don't get attached to any opportunity. I don't get attached to not one opportunity. I simply say, okay, that's an opportunity. It'd be great if my team wins it. We'll be so excited to perform on that contract. And I have other opportunities. I showed y'all that sheet. So if you decide that you want to coach with me, then what will happen is I will provide all my tools, like every tool that I've created templates to respond, templates for proposals. I've created templates for quotes. I've created a template on how to reach out for subcontractors. I have a whole process for that. I have how I onboard my vendors, like my wording with onboarding my vendors, my process for onboarding the vendors, the tools that I use. And by the way, I try to use all free tools. I don't mind sharing those tools with you, but it don't really make sense to put a whole bunch of information that y'all did not ask for. I don't mind telling you what platforms those are. I will share with you like how I keep track of my staff. If you do decide that you do want to have staff, I have staff. Some contracts you just simply need staff. I have one contract where we work it 7 days a week. On the weekend, we work it twice on the weekend. So I need an employee for that. I have a couple of employees actually. I have another contract where we work it 5 days a week. So naturally, we need employees. I didn't sub it out. Don't plan on subbing it out. It really doesn't make sense for me to sub it out, but I am able to profit from that contract. So we have contracts where you just have to work a few days a week. Now there's another one where it is 3 days a week. So yeah. I currently have a few registered businesses. Do you recommend registering a new business specifically for GovCon or utilize a current LLC? You can use a current LLC as long as it's not like specific. So let's say your business is pressure washing, but you don't want to do pressure washing. So let's say it is RJ's pressure washing, but you don't want to do pressure washing. You want to actually, I don't know. Let's say you want to sell cups and promotional items, right? You want your business to reflect that. My business name is something very general and generic because I just did not know what I wanted to go after when I first started. And I knew that janitorial would be easy. So I said, that should be pretty easy to get into janitorial is what my thought process was. Cause it's like, I know how to clean, like my skill set is banking. Like that's what I worked in. It's like, yeah, there are government contracts for banks, but, like I don't own a bank. So the type of contracts that they have for banks, I don't actually own a bank. And, anyway, so what I did was I just wanted something very general so that I wouldn't have to be changing my LLC and stuff like that. But yeah, you guys, there's contracts for everything. You name it. there's a contract for it. There's contracts for sweeping a graveyard. There's contracts for cleaning a parking deck. There are contracts that are project management contracts. There are contracts that are point of sale contracts, contracts for IT, all processes of IT. Like there's software contracts. There are contracts for clothing. There are contracts for housing. There are contracts for rentals of every sort, rentals of cars, rentals of lodging. There's a contract right now that I started to work, but I didn't really have when I did the numbers on it, remember my analogy about the t-shirt, when I did the numbers on it, I decided that the amount of time it would take me to work it was not worth the profit. So, but the contract was, there's a big homecoming game happening for this university football team, and they are looking for lodging for the team. They wanted a total of 40 king-size beds, and they wanted 75 double rooms. Then they wanted dinner for 2 nights. And with that contract, it was like they wanted a price for that contract. And I was just like, this is insane. Like that there are contracts for stuff like this is a very, very good thing though. There are contracts for event setup. Like let's say there's a special event happening. There are contracts for that. There are contracts for furniture rental, like renting, like if you rent special occasion furniture. There's contracts for televisions, for telephones. There are contracts for furniture of every single kind. There's uniform contracts. There are automobile contracts. There are contracts for marketing of every type of marketing, whether an entity wants to bring in more tourism, if they want to, like the promotional like pins and stuff. Like when I grew up, there was a huge Just Say No to Drugs campaign that's what I can remember in school. That was a government contract. It's so crazy how now I look at everything so different and understand all the money that was tied to those different campaigns. We all remember the pandemic. So, on the highway where it would say 6 feet apart, that's a government contract. That was a marketing contract. That's a government contract. There are contracts anytime there's a storm and there needs to be some sort of cleanup, like the storm in Texas. There's so much money in Texas right now. There are contracts for like park benches. There are contracts for the shelving in libraries. There are contracts for cleaning the library. There are contracts for water fountains. There's contracts for grass-fed beef. There's contracts for crackers. There are contracts for rice. There's contract for flour. And I'm talking about making money off the flour, like if let's say you sold the flour and you made, I don't know, let's say you sold the flour and you're charging them 5 cents a pound for the flour, and you get the flour for 3 cents a pound, and you're making 2 cents per pound. They're buying thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of flour. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about the government. They're not buying a little bitty something. It's never a little bitty something. They're not buying nothing. They're not saying, oh, I just want 1 cup. They're saying we want 10,000 cups. And that's where your money is. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where your money is. Tell me again, how would I get website for these? There's websites for everything. So you just go to your state website and you will find the bids there. You go to your county website and you might find the bids there, because not all counties always have bids, but they more than likely they do. So there's like websites all over the place. What I'm going to try to do is I'll give you guys a free, just come back to this video and I will upload a free list I've made a list in the very beginning of all the state websites. And just because there's a website for all those different states, there are also multiple websites within each state. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like just one thing, but I'll give you the list. I made a list. I will, is on a Google sheet, And the way my list works, I can actually show you my list right now. The way my list works is I have columns saying that, okay, you register, this is your password, so that you can remember. Y'all stay organized, stay very organized when you start this. And organization may not be your strong suit, but when I started this, I knew that I'm not the most organized person. So let me say that first, so that you know that, okay, you're not dealing with a type A person. But when I started this, I knew that I've had a vision for my company where I would not be the one always running payroll. I will not be the one always overseeing operations. I have an operations manager. I have a project manager. I have a HR person. You see what I'm saying? So I had to make sure I was able to have my processes documented well so that I could hand something over to like my admin person and say, hey, register us for all these sites. You get what I'm saying? And so that's why this is organized in the way that it is, because I don't want people to be sitting on my payroll and me not having like processes already documented. So if you decide to mentor with me, I will give you all of my processes, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to cover this up because I don't want y'all to see my passwords. But what I will do is I will duplicate this sheet and I will clear out all my passwords and stuff like that on the duplicate sheet. And then I will put it up for free on my Stan Store. So you will go to my Stan Store, like when this video is live, just go and go to my description box is what I'm trying to say. I kept wanting to say link in bio, but go to my description box and click like the state registration. So let me cover my stuff up so you can kind of see it. Okay, right. Oh, hold on. Y'all get what I'm trying to do. Let me do it with a sheet of paper. Can y'all see that? Okay, so that's just part of the list. And the list goes on and on and on. And I will give that to y'all for free. Okay, so thank you, Sherelle. I will give that to y'all for free. And then you register your business and start looking. Just look around. Just look around on those sites and go after stuff. Don't be scared to go after it because, look, somebody is winning. The government does business with small businesses. It's true. People are winning every day, multiple times a day. There are plenty of companies that I don't know the companies themselves, but I know these companies by name. They win every day, sometimes multiple times per day. And I'm not talking about no $5,000. I'm not talking about nothing like that. I'm talking about some big life-changing numbers. But if y'all have any questions, you don't have to do all that. I get it. Okay. All right, cool. If y'all have any questions, leave them in, like, let's spend a few more minutes together and let me answer whatever questions that come to your mind because I want to add value. And I'm sorry, I'll probably never do a live being, I'll always probably be doing something because, like I'm just taking some time out to do a live to connect with y'all, to show y'all, because like I said, I never knew about government contracting. I can remember years and years ago, I went to a county building where I was living at in Augusta, Georgia. And when I went to that county building, I saw this sheet posted, and this is back in the day, pre-internet. I was a young woman. I saw a sheet posted, and now that I know what this is, that's exactly what I was looking at. But people kept this quiet. But y'all, there's so much money out there. There's money for everyone. There is so much money out there. There's so much money out there for everything. Let me get this list, and y'all go get the list from my Stan Store. It's free. I put it up with $0. It don't cost you nothing, but I'm gonna get this list and I'm gonna read off just some of the services that the government buys. Hold on, let me go to my office. So if there's anybody out there like me, like when I was getting started, I had no idea what I was going to do. And I'm laughing at myself because I said, Leah, really hold yourself accountable. And this is how I did it. So I said to my husband, I said, hey, would you buy my cleaning set? Because I'm going to start a cleaning business. And it's on YouTube, y'all. It's on YouTube. I have a vlog where I go to Lowe's, I buy my cleaning set. Little did I know that that video was going to land me my very first client. So a friend of mine, she also does YouTube. She told a friend of hers about my cleaning company. And at that time, I had 0 clients and I just, wasn't doing, I figured I could do residential. I figured I could do commercial. I figured I could do government contracting, excuse me. I figured I could do all those different things. But she told her friend about me, and I did move out clean for her. And I think I charged like $275 for that move out clean. So that was my first sale. And then I had no more sales. I had no more sales because it was hard to try to build in the public sector and the private sector. So I decided for the public sector because the public sector has more bang for your buck. $275 is cool. Yes, that's very, very cool. But like being awarded a contract that's, let's say, you $5,000 a month, $15,000 a month. I have contracts like that. Being awarded one of those are much more impactful, and you don't have to hunt for client after client after client. So if you have whatever type of business you have, if you have a lawn care business, if you have a daycare, if you have a personal care home, if you have a transitional housing business, if you have a t-shirt business, if you have a decorating business, if you have a hairstyling business, if you're a project management professional, if you're an IT professional, y'all, there's space for you. And I hope I'm not saying the same businesses again and again. That's why I went ahead and got this list. So what are some of the lessons you learned that you wish you knew when you first got started? Oh, that's a good question. Let's see. What are some of the lessons I learned that I wish I knew when I first got started? Honestly, it's been a really good thing. It's been really good. But I guess one of the things I wish I knew is if I had trained with someone, then I would have made money sooner. Because I'll share with you a proposal that I had made. And the proposal looks good, y'all. The proposal looks really good. It's still in my Canva because I created it through Canva, but it had none of the very, very important things that you need in a proposal. And there are, I can't really answer for you before someone asks, what are those very important things you need in a proposal? Because the bid package tells you, but I didn't really understand how to read the bid package, if that makes any sense. So if my computer will come back on, okay, I'll show y'all my very first, it may not be my very first, but one of my first, when I didn't know what I was doing. And I should have hired someone. So what I end up doing, let me kind of tell you about my learning path. I always tell people everything I learned was from YouTube, and that is true. So what I did 3 different things. I attempted to get help with someone with 3 different times, right? Okay, the first time was, let me see, the very first time I attempted to get help, I had already won 2 contracts, and this lady was saying she would help me, and she told me how much it cost, but I just didn't see, I was excited about it. I wanted the help, and I talked about getting the help of the video where I talked about quitting the notary business. But my husband was like, you really don't need the help, because she didn't kind of really outline exactly how she was going to help, and it seemed like it was something, I don't know. It just didn't feel right. So I went with what my husband said, and I didn't get help there. Okay, so the second time, because I wanted to scale. I wanted to grow my business. I wanted to grow my business. I had already won, I want to say at this point, maybe 3 or 4 contracts. And I went in this course and it was like he chat GBT that course. It was trash. And I paid $2,000 for the course and couldn't get my money back. One thing, oh, I forgot to tell y'all a real important one for real estate agents, for insurance agents. There, you don't even have to be a real estate agent, but there's so many contracts. Like anytime you go into Social Security office, more than likely that's a government contract. Someone is getting rent money up from that building again and again and again. And that's why I hired and got this course from this man. And the course was garbage. The course was totally incomplete garbage. And like I said, I stopped attending his live sessions. They were not personal. He would go live for 1 hour. He had like 50 people in the room. You might get your question answered if the time was up, but they spent so much time with little small talk and stupid stuff that I just didn't get any help. And you got one time to talk directly with him. So the one time I talked directly with him, I ended up on the phone with his assistant. She ain't know nothing. She didn't do any government contract. It was complete garbage, a waste of $2,000. I actually filed a dispute with my bank explaining it, and I lost the dispute. So I lost $2,000. So I was about to say his name. His course was trash. It was trash. It was garbage. It was like it was chat GBT, and it was not personal, and it's like he paid more money for the Airbnb that he filmed it in and the aesthetic than the content of the course. It was complete trash. So I wanted to learn how to do leasing with the government, and it's still something that's very interesting to me, but I'm not focusing on it because like I said, I have a couple of other concentrates that I'm working on licensing for now to and I'll talk about those once I have my licensing and stuff. But I wanted to learn that, and when I got on the phone with his assistant, my one valuable personal call with him, right, she's like, oh, I tried doing that before and it was really hard. So I wouldn't suggest you do it. That was the advice. So yeah, it was horrible, which is why I don't think I will open up any sort of group coaching. I will just do one-on-one coaching. So it could just be me and you. That was a terrible, terrible, terrible experience. And I think after maybe week 2 or 3, I just stopped attending. I can't remember how many weeks it was that I had. And then they try to get me to buy more. I said, y'all, this is garbage to begin with. So anyway, the third time I tried to get help, I really feel like I would have gotten the help that I wanted, but the way she had things outlined, I had already done. So let's say she had a 12-week program or 8-week program. So week 1, you're doing this. Week 2, you're doing this. Mind you, I've already won maybe like 5, 6, 7 contracts at this time, but I was wanting to scale because I don't feel like, oh, I know everything. And but I didn't, what I need to understand now, or what I learned is, yes, get help for your business so that you could get to the money faster, but be very careful about who you get help for your business. Don't just be all wrapped up in the emotion like, oh, I could spend $2,000, because I think hers was like $2,000. Spend the $2,000 with her only to see like it wasn't until I want to say maybe week 7 where we would get to what I actually was wanting. And so I just said, you know what? By the time I get here, I will probably figure it out, which I did. And so, I just figured it was just a waste of my money. And I think we had like 3 weeks after that. So I thought it was going to be like an intensive 8, 10, 12 week, however long it was, training, to get the most out of it. But no, it was basic, fundamental setup stuff that I already did, because I wasn't one of the others who had never won a contract. I had won multiple at this time. So I just didn't go with it. Okay, I don't really want to put my business name out there, so I'm going to skip that page. But there's some things called like a capability statement and stuff like that. I thought that I needed that, and I didn't. I thought that I needed to be certified. I didn't. I'm not certified in any way, shape, or form. Not woman-owned, not minority, not HUBZone, not disadvantaged. Some contracts are set aside for those things, true enough, but the there's a small fraction of contracts in comparison to the number that are out there that are set aside for those things. So yeah, I'm not. Okay, so this is not that's not it. That's a capability, but I want to show you my little and then I'll get to the services. I want to show you my little proposal that I made that I just thought I was doing something. Y'all, I was so proud of myself. I was so proud of that proposal. I went to FedEx and spent all this money, printed it out, and then the proposal was due. It was due like a couple days later. So I ended up spending like maybe 90 something dollars sending my proposal off. And honey, sis didn't win nothing. She didn't win anything. And I was like, why didn't I win? And I was hoping that I was going to win and all this other stuff. But girl, no, I did not win anything. I was trying to figure out why in the world didn't I win, but I was not willing to get down in the dumps and stop because I knew the money was out there. I knew the money was out there. Oh, but here's a website you could go to. There's a website called Bonfire. That is really good. You could go to that one. So I thought I was there. Okay, here we go. All right, here's an example of one of my little proposals. This is part of it. And I just thought it was so nice looking. You know, I just thought it was so nice looking. I just thought it was so good. And no, I didn't get anything. Nothing ended up happening from that. And I was just new. I didn't have any of the information that they was asking for in the proposal. And so that's why I created templates for myself. And then in turn I gave those templates to like my past students so that I was teaching. And I could have swore I was never going to teach again, but the amount of freedom and time that I have is really, really nice. So yeah. Okay. Ask questions, y'all. Ask questions. So I'm just gonna, hey, Nana loves Selena. Hey, how are you doing? So ask questions. Ask whatever questions you want, and I'm going to just randomly name off some services that the government buys. The government buys products, they buy services, they buy ideas. So there's lots of consulting contracting. Thank you, Sherelle. Thank you. You are an excellent student. You are an excellent student. Okay, so some that they buy: janitorial, landscaping, groundkeeping, pest control, office services, mail courier, document shredding, moving services, furniture installation, translating and interpretation, web design, cloud computing services, data center management services, network setup and maintenance, computer repair, electric contracting, plumbing, HVAC, roofing, demo, fencing, elevator maintenance, legal services, accounting, bookkeeping. And y'all, I'm going to pause a little spew for a second. Trust and believe that all these major companies that y'all know and love, trust and believe that they are registered and they are competing for some contracts. Believe me. Equifax, they be winning multiple million contracts. So Experian, I saw a few weeks ago, Experian, they won like this 8-figure contract, right? And guess what it was for, y'all? Guess what it was for? Please, someone guess what it was for. Guess so I could tell y'all. Guess what it was for. I'm telling y'all, there's a contract for everything. There's a contract for everything. Please, someone guess what that Experian contract was for. Please, I'm not going to tell y'all unless someone guesses. Tell me, guess what it was for. Guess what it was for. Okay, economic research, strategic planning. So remember I said they sell ideas. They buy ideas too. Fire protection, emergency medical staff. Let's see, workforce training and development, language instruction, e-learning design, job readiness, medical staffing. So doctors, nurses, marketing. I don't know. No, it was to verify benefit eligibility for people who apply for welfare. Not an 8-figure contract. Experian won for that. These big companies, they are in there too. Not only are they making money in all sorts of ways, they're making money in other ways. That should let you know something. And don't be afraid to compete with big companies. I have been at visits to a site where there are so many people. I remember I was at one site visit. The people there, There was a couple of gentlemen there. They had like 30 years experience with that thing, right? Another one had like 20 something years experience. Me, as green as ever, completely wet behind her ears, just knowing that she wants to win a contract, was there too. Just like, you know, being quiet, learning, observing, taking videos, taking photos, stuff like that. Guess who won the contract? Guess who still got the contract? Guess who got several more years on contract? It's me. Recurring revenue. Money that I don't have to think about. And contracts are not the same as like a contract with I don't know, let's say you order a service and you don't like it and you just cancel it. It doesn't work like that with government contracting. It doesn't work like that. You got your recurring revenue. Okay, hazardous waste disposal, recycling, soil testing, air quality testing, energy efficient consultation. So that's just some of them. I made a list. It's free. It's in my Stan Store. So I will upload this video to YouTube, and then I'm going to put it on, put the Stan Store link there, and you can get this list for free. And probably not tonight because I need to go wash my hair and, you know, do my detangling and blow drying and all that stuff. So, but maybe later on in the week, check my Stan Store again, because I will put my state registration for free up in my Stan Store so that y'all could, you know, have that to, you know, register in those states, and you don't have to live in those states. You know, it's so cool, y'all. It's so cool. So have you registered? You have to be registered as a business to bid on contracts? No, you don't, but I think you should. I highly suggest that you do. And if you decided to work with me, I would tell you, like that's one of the prerequisites before we even begin working, to be registered. I have experience. Oh yeah, you could do that. Yeah, I know. That's the thing. You could do it. Y'all, there's so much money out there. It's ridiculous. I wish there was a way for me to share my screen on my phone. If there is, I just don't know of it. But I wish there was a way for me to share, because I would show y'all some of these things. But I might just start like making some, some shorts. I was thinking reels. Might just start making shorts showing you different contracts that are out there. And that creator, that's what he used to do. The one I mentioned earlier in the live, that's what he used to do. And I wouldn't watch every one of his videos, but I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna get it. And I did. I got it. But I really, my number one thing that I regret is not finding the right person to teach me, because I would have got to the money a lot sooner. But don't get me wrong, I started my business in June. I just hit 2 years in my business. Started my business in June of 2023, and by August or September of 2023, I had won my first $40,000 contract. So your girl figured it out, which my mom taught me. That's a valuable lesson. My mom always taught me to figure it out. So I figured it out. I was persistent because I knew the money was there. I just knew it just made too much sense. It made too much sense. So everything is money. Look at everything very differently. When you go about your day today, tomorrow, just look around you and say, is this a government contract? Because it probably is. It probably is a government contract. But all right, y'all, thank you so much for being here. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you guys appreciated it. Thank you for being here. And I will go live again. I can't really plan it. I still am short-staffed in my business. So I'll be filling in and helping like that. So I don't want to say, but just, I will go live like when I'm getting ready for something or whatever, so that I can, you know, impart information to y'all if I can. And I just hope that I bring awareness that y'all could literally do business with the biggest buyer. The federal government is the biggest buyer, but I do business with the biggest buyer. My first contract with the federal government was with the U.S. Coast Guard. I do business with the biggest buyer, but there are other government entities to do business with too. So thank y'all so much. I'll upload this live on my channel so that y'all will have it as a resource. Thank you for pardoning my appearance. I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hair, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.